Hi, I'm Kenny Lee Lewis. How you doing? I play in the Steve Miller Band, and we're here today to talk a little bit about Jimmie Rodgers and Les Paul, and how that all ties in with my connection with the Steve Miller Band, which I've been in for 30 years now. And the subject came up of the sound of guitar. You know, the really cool early sounds of guitar that had like reverb and delay, and you know, the way that Les would do his double tracking and things like that was really a great time in American electric guitar music, which was very new at that time. And Jimmie Rodgers was one of the pioneers of that sound. And Les, who of course I knew personally when he was gracing us with his presence here on the earth, got to go to his house and see all of his inventions, and he showed me how he developed his tape delay sounds, and he also told me that he was trying to emulate the reverb sound that he was hearing on Jimmie Rodgers records. He was actually trying to emulate for his sound, because he was greatly influenced by Jimmie. And eventually, Les, who grew up in Waukesha, I think it was Waukesha, Wisconsin, basically was a nightclub, supper club entertainer at the time. And Steve Miller's father, Sonny Miller, used to go down there and hear him all the time and record him on his little wire tape recorder he had. And he was just so fascinated by the sounds that Les was getting. They became friends, and eventually Sonny and his wife eventually became the best man and the maid of honor for Les Paul and Mary Ford's wedding, which was amazing. And they spent their honeymoon night at the Miller's house, which was crazy. And that's when Les first met Steve Miller, who was about as high as this little guy right here. And Steve was probably about 4 or 5, something like that, and he just started singing and playing a little ukulele, little baby cowboy guitar. And he got his influence from Les, which of course, as we just said, was emulating the sounds of Jimmie Rodgers. So that was the connection between Jimmie and Les, and then my employer, which is Steve Miller. But I can tell you that the sounds that I was influenced by through Les's playing definitely were influenced by Jimmie Rodgers, and that in fact came down on all this. It sort of was a trickle down that we all, as electric guitar players, were able to use in our own sound, which was a great pioneering sound up to that point, because all they'd had up to that point was acoustic guitar music, especially in crossover country and things like that. But Jimmie was considered sort of a crossover between country and jazz in a way, which was really a great influence on Old Rhubarb Red, which is what Les's moniker was when he first joined his first cowboy bands way back in the late 20s. And there was also some other influences that did those same sort of crossovers. People like T-Bone Walker, for instance, which was a very big influence on Steve. Steve's father used to hire T-Bone when they lived in Texas, in Dallas, and used to do parties for him out in the backyard and things like that. And he used to use a little slap tape delay and reverb on the amps. By then, some of the amplifiers were starting to get reverb, or you had a separate tank that had a spring in it, which was about, a little box about the size of this. And I think Fender was one of the first ones to make that. And you'd plug into that and you'd get that same sound. It was one of the early sounds. It was great. But T-Bone was also a bridge between jazz and blues and rock and roll, which is where, of course, Steve eventually made his career. And that's when I first saw Steve when I was 13, and I wanted to be a part of that. So, if you look at the whole generation of all these things connecting, Jimmie Rodgers, Les Paul, Steve Miller, and myself, you got 4 generations of people that just want to rock, plug in their electric guitars and get all those great sounds and stuff. And I even have a little reverb box that I bought tonight that I'm going to plug in, because although the sound system might have it in it, it's nice to control that sound yourself on stage. And that was the sound that, like I said, Les was trying to emulate for Jimmie.
God, that's it? I cut. I don't even need to ask a question. That's perfect. I love it.
I figured as much, because I got to set up the gear now.
Now you got to really do it. I may stay a little while and just get a little bit of you hot
Sure.
playing, and then we'll tape that on, so we'll do a little perform shot.
So, anything else?
God, no. I mean, I can't. That was, no.
Make sure you
I'm
got
sitting
it.
here going, yeah.
Make sure you got it.